You made it. 6 figures. The number your parents whispered about like it was a lottery win. The number that was supposed to mean you'd finally made it. And you did make it. So why does your chest feel tight when you check your bank account? Why are you still saying, I can't afford that? Why does one unexpected car repair feel like a crisis? Because here's the truth nobody prepared you for. $100,000 doesn't make you rich, it makes you comfortable. And comfortable is the most dangerous place you can be. This is the illusion of prosperity. The idea that a big salary equals wealth. That if you're making more than 90% of people, you must be winning. But let me ask you something. If you're 1 month away from a financial disaster, are you rich? Or are you just broke at a higher tax bracket? Wealth isn't what you earn. Wealth is the gap between what you make and what you need to survive. And if that gap is 0, you're not free. You're in a very comfortable prison. And the scariest part? You won't even realize you're trapped until you try to leave. Stick with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to see money completely differently. And that shift? That's where freedom actually begins. Meet Marcus, 29. Software engineer. Makes $108,000 a year. He drives a leased Audi. Lives in a nice 1-bedroom downtown. Goes out on weekends. From the outside, he's crushing it. But here's what his bank account actually looks like. $108,000. Sounds huge, right? Watch what happens. Federal taxes, 24%. Minus 26 grand. State taxes, another 5%. Minus 5 grand. Social Security, Medicare, 7.65%. Minus 8 grand. He started with $108,000. What actually hits his account? $69,000. Divide that by 12. $5,700 a month. Now let's see where that goes. Rent, because he wanted to live near work and not waste his life commuting. $2,400. Car lease, because successful people drive nice cars, right? $650. Insurance, gas, parking, another $500. Student loans, because that computer science degree wasn't free, $420. Groceries, utilities, phone, internet, gym, $900. We're at $4,870. He's got $830 left. For everything else, what clothes, dates, trips, saving for a house, an emergency, a future. And here's where the trap tightens. Every time Marcus gets a raise, he doesn't save the difference. He spends it. Nicer apartment, nicer car, nicer dinners. Because he's doing well. But now he's locked in. He can't quit the job that's burning him out. He can't take a pay cut to try something he actually cares about. He can't move somewhere cheaper, even though he hates the city. Because his life requires that paycheck. Every single month. This is what I call fragmentation. The system doesn't ask where your money should go. It fragments it. Quietly, automatically, invisibly, before you ever see it. And then you're left wondering, I make 6 figures? Why am I still stressed about money? Because you're not rich. You're just expensive to maintain. All right, so you get wise. You read an article, watch a YouTube video, realize you need to start investing. So you do it. $100 a month, sometimes $150 if you skip the drinks after work. You're finally being responsible. And after 3 months, your investment account says $450. Cool, you could buy half a PlayStation. This is where 90% of people quit. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't get it, but because early investing feels like throwing money into a black hole. You're sacrificing now, skipping trips, saying no to things you want, and getting nothing. No rush, no reward, no visible progress, just a tiny number that barely moves. But here's what they don't tell you. Early investing isn't about the returns. It's about the identity shift. There's a difference between someone who saves money and someone who is an investor. Savers put money aside when it's convenient. Investors treat it like a non-negotiable bill. Rent gets paid, investment gets funded. Phone bill gets paid, investment gets funded. It's not a nice to have, it's who they are. And the people who push through the boredom stage, they're the ones who wake up at 39, 43, 51 and realize they have options. Not because they got lucky, not because they made a killing on some stock, but because they kept watering the plant when nothing was happening. The boredom stage isn't a bug, it's the filter. It's how the game separates the people who want to be free from the people who are willing to be bored for it. Let's talk about the number that changes everything. $200,000. Not because it's some magical finish line where you get to retire on a beach, but because it's the point where the math flips. Before $200,000, your wealth is built by your labor. You work, you save, you hustle. If you save $500 a month, that's $6 grand a year. $1,000 a month, $12 grand a year. You are doing all the work. But after $200,000, your money starts doing the work. Here's the math. $200,000 invested at an average of 8% annual return generates $16,000 a year in growth. While you sleep, 16 grand. That's what a disciplined saver might manually add to their account in a year. But now, your money is adding that automatically. Without you clocking in, without you negotiating a raise, without you doing anything. This is the handoff stage. The moment your money stops being a passenger in your financial life and starts being the co-pilot, then the pilot. But here's the part that destroys people. If you hit 150, 180, 200,000, and then you pull out 40 grand for a car, or a wedding, or because I've been good, I deserve this, you're not spending $40,000. You're spending $186,000 because that 40 grand left invested for 20 years at 8% becomes 186. Every dollar you remove isn't just gone. It's compounding backward. You're not just losing the money. You're losing every dollar that money would have made for decades. Ooh, this is the opportunity cost nobody talks about. And it's why people who make 6 figures can still end up broke at 60. I know some of you are watching this thinking, yeah, cool story. But I'm 38. I've got 18 grand saved total. What now? Am I just done? No, you're not done. You're behind. And behind just means you need to move with urgency. Here's the catch-up plan. Not theory, not fluff. Action. Step 1. Build your floor. 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash. Boring, accessible, liquid cash. Not stocks, not crypto. Not, I'll just pull from my Roth if I need it. Cash. This is your walk-away fund. The cushion that lets you say no to a bad job, a bad boss, a bad situation. Without this, you're negotiating from fear. With it, you negotiate from strength. See, step 2, know your benchmark. By age 40, you should be aiming for 2 to 3 times your annual salary in net worth. Make 70 grand, aim for 140 to 210. Make 100, aim for 200 to 300. Not there yet? Good. Now you have a target instead of just a vague feeling of, I should be doing better. Step 3, control the big 3. These are the wealth killers: housing, transportation, taxes. If you're spending more than 30% of your income on rent or a mortgage, you're choosing to stay broke. If you're driving a car that costs more than half your annual salary, you're choosing the handcuffs. And if you need to catch up fast, geographic arbitrage. Move somewhere cheaper for 2 to 3 years. Bank the difference. Is it glamorous? No. But neither is being 67 and working because you have to, not because you want to. Remember, cutting expenses has a floor. You can only cut so much. But your income has no ceiling. Freelance, side hustle, upskill, negotiate. Get more money coming in. That's the only way to truly accelerate. Here's the thing about money most people get wrong. It's not about the things. The car, the apartment, the watch, the trips. It's about the options. When you don't have a financial cushion, you only have one door. Stay. Stay in the job you hate. Stay in the city that drains you. Stay in the relationship that doesn't work because you can't afford to split rent. But when you've got 6 months of expenses saved, when your investments are growing on autopilot, you have options. You don't beg for a raise, and you ask. And if they say no, you walk. You don't stay out of fear. You stay because you choose to. $100,000 isn't the prize. $200,000 isn't the finish line. They're the seed. The thing you plant quietly, water consistently, and let time do the impossible. So I want to ask you something. What's one financial decision from your past you'd do differently if you could go back? Drop it in the comments. Not to beat yourself up, but because we've all been there. We've all bought the thing we couldn't afford, skipped the savings, said, "I'll start next year." And next year became 5 years. The illusion of prosperity is believing that a big salary makes you rich. The truth is this: wealth is not what you spend. Wealth is what you don't spend. Multiplied by time. Start today. Not next month, not next year, today.